Finally getting back into this barn project that's been put off for years and years. The old timber frame barn built in the 1860s. And yeah, she gets in pretty bad shape. There's an old footing that someone poured years and years ago. Post on the bottom here. Alright, I set up the old posts here so you can kind of see what we've been doing. I hired a guy. So far I think I got about $800 into the project for his time and stuff. Plus I gotta go get a bunch of cement tonight at the lumber yard. Cutting out the rot. That's original timber post beam. I didn't think they jacked it up that much, but I think there was some old 4x4s under that. Because I think they only jacked it up probably an inch or two. I kind of wish they would have cut it out like an L though. Like this, surprisingly, this is very heavy. I think they could have cut like a 4x out and actually saved more of the main post. Some up here is rotten too. I'm going to probably cut that out like a 4x4 little ways up. I think that's the right way to do it. But they could have saved this original down probably another foot or two, foot and a half. Created an L. And that would be there. Find another bottom piece. Screw surface. You got more surface, and I think it'd just be sturdier. Like that one, you cut off flush too. This is just a door frame post. It's a little bit smaller, I think. You just put a 2x6 on the outside. He's going to mend it together that way. You gotta cut these flush yet. That's got a little more rot in it too, I don't like. But these beams I cut off, they are heavy. They're not waterlogged or nothing. I've had plastic over the side of the barn for 15 years. Yeah, a couple come-alongs. Tomorrow we're gonna pull this old post. I have another video, I think I talked about it a little bit. That old post, post footing. We're going to try and pull that out that way with the tractor tomorrow. So I'm going to try and dig down here on the other side. Hopefully it doesn't go too deep. Pretty rough shape, but that's what happens when people don't take care of your stuff. Like there was siding, wood siding on the side of the barn here. It's basically all rotted away because it must have never got painted or something. So that corner of the barn looks like it always had it was always low, and it's got like these 2x-inch old boards, heavy old boards. They must be oak or something, but even how rotten they look, they're still tough. Can't use them for much though. They're pretty warped up. It's the only spot in the barn that has a wood floor. Obviously, that one on top. Actually, I put that in there years ago when I was like 10 or 12 years old. It'll be interesting to see what's under. There's actually some more beams maybe we can use for something else. And hopefully one day I get this, turn this into my main workshop. Oh, we got this beam. That was falling down. Hopefully we can get this in more. The mortise and tenon had slipped out. We got it in part way. It was hanging all down, probably another foot or two. And just had temporary boards holding it up. You can see one's still nailed on, but it's floating now. That board is like that ever since I was a little boy. I remember it hanging down. So I stained up the end of it really good to help protect it more. It had a bunch of little holes in it. I think they're sawdust beetles or something, but I don't see any remnants of new beetles around it anywhere. Yeah, I think how he jacked it up. Well, he's got it better now. He had this jack on the floor joists, and I don't think that was right. Well, just like he does on that side. I think that's just pushing up on the floor a little bit. Kind of weird. Well, this is probably help holding it up too. It's an old little pallet I stuck in there 10 years ago. I don't know why. Why is there a... Is it working? There we go. Why? Looks like there was a mortise tenon in the wall there. This was always open since I've been on the property. My 30-some years. But that's kind of my worker guy's plan. He's going to pour another footing kind of in the middle. Kind of like what was on that side. Originally. I think that's where he must have got the idea, but this used to be a sliding door. We actually took the rail down. But I guess that won't hurt anything. I'm just going to frame this in eventually anyways and try and stick some insulation in also. 1860s this was built. Timber frame, wooden pegs. I don't know if you can see them. And this floor is the worst in the whole barn too, in this corner section. I think before the tin roof was ever put on it. When I'm in the hayloft you can kind of tell. It looks like it was leaking because there's shingles, wood shingles, that there's clearly spots missing. I think it was leaking for a few years. Then that used to be full of hay in the hayloft. So eventually I'm going to change all that out. I mean, this is... It's a little bit, you know, it's not perfect. It's got a little... It's worse as it comes back to the corner. Like up there, it's pretty much straight in that third. But this is fine. I'm going to try and put a staircase actually in this corner, I'm thinking. Somewhere in this room section. And eventually I'll take all these ceiling joists out and change them out. I think that's actually under-engineered for the structure. 'Cause I think normally they use like beams in the ceiling too, and these I think are just 2x8s. Might even be just 2x6s, but they're the old 2x6s. They're actually 2" by 6" dimensional, or 8s. I haven't measured it for a while. They look like they're farther apart than 16 too. I want to say they're 20. But anyway, that's a mystery. I can't figure out. There's 2 holes, hay holes, along the middle section. I got the chickens in the front there, that area. But there's no staircase in this structure that I've been able to find, or where one was, to get up there. Here I got in the corner over here a little bit. So if anybody knows also where I can get a couple of small pieces of 2x8s, well, like 4 or 5 footers, I could really use them, and I'd pay for them, but I can't find anybody around here that's got them. Maybe you can see there a little better. And these cross bracings right there that go all the way to the roof and the ground. I'm going to try and keep that in there. I think that's important. But that one's rotted off right there. You see that? That's been rotted off as long as I can remember also. I'm going to have to replace that, which is like a 5 by 5, I'm guessing. That's all rotten. I could probably chop her off right here somewhere, but I'm gonna have to. It's kind of weird to have a mend right at that point. So I'll probably have to chop that one off. Because there was originally a window framed in here. You can see a little bit left. And I think that's kind of what rotted all this out. Once the glass was gone, it went at the wood. I cut some of it out. Surprisingly, some of it still solid. Looked totally rotten from the outside, but you gotta cut it back so far to get to it. Get to the solid stuff. If I take that out, I can't, where do I find boards that size? I don't know. Lots of questions. Lots of questions. But anyways, my builder's gonna put another footing. I don't know if he's got that in the center or not. I think it should be over here, just a little bit more. I'll have to ask him about that tomorrow. Anyways, I think he's just going to put another, a 6 by 6 I think is what he's planning on. So, which is these guys that he brought over. They look like old Green Treat ones. A lot of work to be done. A lot of ways you can go about it, and I don't know, I'm just glad I finally found someone that's willing to take on the project, because I've asked at least 5 of the other people before this guy, and I don't know. I think his plan is to kind of get that supported to help with the corner when we get to this, because that's well rotted too. My dad started this project 35 years ago, maybe 40, I don't know. He's pretty old now. He just never finished it. Life got in the way, I suppose. That's actually, look at that, you can actually, that's the mortise sticking through that would have went to this beam. So it's actually, where it's sitting right now is probably higher than it was ever originally. Little spider nest, and there's little walking sticks. Huh, spiders eat walking sticks. I didn't know that. That's creepy. What is under here? I haven't looked for a while. Yep. That'll be interesting. Hopefully we don't run into any creepy buried bones or something under there. You can see there's an old field stone that was used for stuff. Yeah, I don't understand how the pioneers, I don't know if this is a 150-year-old pour or someone added that later on through the years or not. I think originally they were just, everything was put on stones like that stuff. There's one more footing over there, but you can see big boulders kind of behind it too. I don't know. Lots of questions. Lots of questions. So if anyone's got any ideas for me or suggestions, I would love to get them, because there's so many ways you can go about on a project like this, but what's the right or the best way? You know. Anyways, I'll make another video after we pull out that old footing. Alright, I went up into the hayloft just to get up here and see how bad that one post is. Needs a lot of work, but it looks so neat to me. It's so open up here, there's not too much junk, just some old wood. let's get to that corner post that we're messing with. Here's that floor too. Yeah. Can you see it? And the rest of it's decent. Decent flatness, I guess you'd say it. Plumb. Anyway, oh, where'd I put that other level? Oh shoot, I thought I left it up here. Anyway, here's a post too. Boy, it looks like, look at that. So that's the post we are working on. My dad did put a couple braces in here, so these must have been falling out. Like here's a 45. Looks like it. Actually, there's some pressure on it right now. It's kind of jammed in where it's at. Looks like it broke the beam and the... Surprised the end on that didn't bust off. That 5x5 or whatever it is. Yeah. Failure point, and on the same spot. This one's interesting. See any hole? That has one there. See, there's a hole in the cross brace. But there is no hole in the beam. So when they built this barn, I think they actually forgot to peg this one. It's only one wooden peg that pegs it. Oh shit, look at that. See, this one's got it. It's been busted out. That one too, so that one must be out of whack a little bit. And it kind of does down there. I haven't inspected it closer yet, but... So, wow. So both of those posts must be down just a little bit, because this was almost level the other day when I had level in the middle. I didn't put the level over there. I bet you that's where the angle's at. That makes sense because the floor is so down. Lots of questions. A lot of questions. Neat old structure. See if we can revive her.